that report by Alan. We're now going to be crossing over to the KEBSA offices to link up with Caroline Njenga. A very good afternoon, Caroline. I understand that the East African Business Council and Kenya Private Sector Alliance has just resolved to have a common EAC vaccine certificate. What more can you tell us about this agreement?
Well, thank you, Safin, and that is exactly what you have said, and that is what was concluded right here at KEBSA offices in regards to some of the various pertinent issues that the EAC region is facing. And there was a roundtable meeting for the better part of the morning as there was discussions among the 6 EAC countries to just see how they can improve trade within the region. And right here, I am joined by John Bosco Kalise, who is the CEO of East African Business Council, who will just elaborate to us or tell us some of the key recommendations that they came out of the meeting with to see that the trade within the East Africa grows to an exponential level, and also to see how they can back or ensure that the SMEs in the country, which actually form the basis of the GDP in this country, will grow to another level. Joining us right here is John Bosco. Just tell us, Mr. Bosco, what are some of the key recommendations that came out of this key meeting that was attended by key representatives from the East African region?
Yeah, thank you very much. It has been an exciting meeting hosted by Kenya Private Sector Alliance, and the meeting brought together national private sector organization across 6 EAC partner states. So the meeting came up with a number of recommendations. One is to have a common EAC vaccination certificate, so that we are able to reduce the transaction costs related to testing, as well as harmonizing the measures related to tests. And that was very critical. Again, another one was that how do we build back better? How do we support our economies to build back better? So we looked at a number of initiatives across the region. How do we support our private sector, especially small, micro, and medium enterprises to recover from the effects of COVID. So one of the instruments we looked at is, again, promoting SME club across our national private sector organization in the region, and also have strengthen our EABC SME platform. We looked at how best do we engage our government in terms of some of the measures, especially access to affordable and cheap finance for SMEs, rolling out e-commerce platform, digital tools among the youth. We learned today from what KEBSA has done quite well in terms of online jobs, creation of jobs for the youth. So we looked at some of those digital instruments and tools that we can use to build back better, especially SMEs. We also looked at the capacity building for our private sector. How do we mentor? How do we engage our development partners and our larger corporate enterprises in terms of supporting the SMEs? We also looked at issues related to NTBs, elimination of NTBs. It was recommended that our NTB Act 2017 need to be relooked, need to be revised in order to take into account the current challenges occasioned by COVID. So one of the issues we discussed that the private sector organization and EABC need to take a proactive role other than a passive role in terms of elimination of NTBs and engaging our partners, our government, in terms of addressing those NTBs that impact trade and investment across the region. We also looked at opportunities provided by Continental Free Trade Area, the CFTA, as the slogan we call it. It's a game changer for our region in terms of boosting economic growth, in terms of improving intra-regional trade. So we looked at the region where we are, what are those products that the region can market competitively, as we came up with a slogan that build East Africa, buy East Africa, build East Africa better. So we have to have a joint marketing of our regional products to every benefit from continental free trade area.
Okay. Now for East Africa, if I may cut you short, for East Africa to have a common vaccine certificate, where are the protocols that you're looking at? Are you going to engage government to government, or is it going to be ministry to ministry? How are you going to go about it? And also tell us the timelines.
Yeah, indeed. Again, the private sector, as I mentioned, and from the meeting today, we realized that our head of state, even the current chair of the summit, he wants the private sector to take a leading role in terms of recovery. So he requested, and other head of state requested, that private sector has to come up with a solution. One of the solutions is that how best can we roll out the vaccination campaign? Let's get a number of our people, especially the SMEs, vaccinated. Once they are vaccinated, once you have that certificate, then you are able to use it across the region. You are not subjected to numerous testing requirements across the region. So that is something EABC is going to push. Is going to push with the EAC Secretariat, and there is that political goodwill. Again, the current SG wants the private sector to take a leading role. So we are looking at a 3 months period in terms of advocating for that common EAC vaccination certificate in order to reduce a transaction cost. For example, one of our members from Burundi, he elaborated that it costed $300 for him to travel to Nairobi and going back. That's a daunting cost. So we are looking at the cost in terms of the testing. We are also looking at the inconveniences caused. How do we ensure that if we are to build back better, if we are to support the recovery of our sector, especially tourism, transport and logistics, we need to reduce and harmonize those measures related to testing for COVID. Okay. So that's what we are pushing, and there is that coordinated and concerted efforts from our national private sector organization that we need to speak with one voice. We need to speak with one voice. Okay. And as I say, there is a platform at the EAC, at the heads of state, that we need to drive the recovery agenda.
Okay, thank you so much, John Bosco, who is the CEO of the East African Business Council. And because of time, that is where we'll end this short interview, and we'll be giving you more details later on during the 9 p.m. broadcast. My name is Carol Jenga. Back to you, Safina Cheng.
Thank you, Caroline Jenga, there speaking to the CEO of the East African Business Council, Mr. Don Bosco, just moments after she has just informed us that the East African Business Council, together with the Kenya Private Sector Alliance, have both resolved to push for a common COVID-19 vaccine in the East African community. Not COVID-19 vaccine, COVID-19 certificate within the EAC, in what Mr. Don Bosco there is terming as something that will help stakeholders cut on cost. We will be getting more details about that story later on.